my name is Laurel Mauldin, and I am the CEO and president of A Table in the Wilderness. We are a nonprofit organization based in Oklahoma. Our organization provides healthy spiritual and physical foods to those who need it. And my passion is health intertwined with the gospel. And I want today to discuss with you the health disparities among Black church members and how to combat them with the health principles found in the Bible. So, according to a Pew Research Center study, nearly 8 in 10 Black Americans identify as Christian, and about 7 in 10 Blacks are Protestant Christians. Now, there's a recent study done by Duke University, and they found a correlation between church attendance and obesity. And Keisha Bentley Edwards is the Associate Director of Research and the Director of Health in the Equity Working Group at the Cook Center, which is the ones who did this study. And they found that historically, Black churches have been a source of spiritual and social support. But, she says, greater religious engagement must also support good health behaviors. And I agree with that 100%. She also states, both men and women who are active members of their churches are being pulled in a lot of different directions outside of their faith community, which can make self care a lower priority than what is warranted. And they at the Cook Center and we at A Table in the Wilderness want to make faith and health priorities in church members' lives, not faith or health, but both working together. Now, in another study, oh no, I'm sorry, in the same study, it was published in the Journal of Religion and Health. It cites two main findings, which gives us our problem that we're going to discuss today. That Black Americans identifying as Baptist are more likely to have diabetes than those in other faiths. Additionally, Black men who go to church 5 or more times a week are 3 times more likely to be obese than their counterparts who seldom or rarely attend, and also not women as well. The researchers, they are not saying that church attendance causes diabetes or obesity. They couldn't be saying that, only that there is a correlation between the two. Now we want to get to why. We want to ask the question, why would that be? So there are a few reasons for the problem. I can't go through them all in 15 to 20 minutes, but you can also find more of the reasons for it and also search it out. But I do want to get to the solutions to the problem, but we want to discuss for a few minutes the reasons for it. Now, of course, there's an obesity epidemic in America, and it affects Blacks disproportionately. And 1/3 of all men and women are obese in America. But in the Black community, it's actually nearly 1/2, which puts us for a greater risk of diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Another reason for the problem is racism and discrimination. They're deeply ingrained in America's social, political, and economic structures of our society. And for minorities, this means unequal access to quality education, to healthy food, to livable wages, and to affordable housing. Foods central to the African diet, such as rice, okra, black beans, and cassava, yams and kidney beans, things like that, they were imported to or transported from Africa to America, along with human cargo. And so that leads us to our other issue. Our other problem with our diet is slavery's diet. Now, these staple foods that I just named were brought over as cargo with humans to America. And that food was not given to us once we came to this country. What was on plantations for Blacks to eat was rations of corn and meat, and that meat was specifically pork. And this is different in different localities, but generally speaking, this is what the diet consisted of for Blacks. And the meat was also not just pork, but it was also the worst parts of the body. So the legs, the skull, the intestines, the feet, not things that you would want to put into your system. Now, but there's a solution. We want to have solution-based fixes for the problem. And so changing the diet is one of the solutions. We need to have a healthy mind and soul, and that needs to be promoted more in our community. Plus, there's a great lack of knowledge about a healthy lifestyle. And so, because of that lack of knowledge, because of the poor diet, we have a higher risk for developing chronic and life threatening diseases such as high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cancer, heart disease. And we want our bodies we want to have them for a long time, and we want them to work well. We don't want to lose limbs. And so there has to be a fix for this. And I believe there is. And I believe that fix is actually found in the Bible. And the good thing is that there are studies being done on the diet from the Bible to see if to see if it works, to see if it's beneficial. And so it says here that Black members of the Adventist Church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, defy health disparities. And Loma Linda University conducted this study in 2011, but there's an additional study I want to talk about from Adventist Health too. And that compared Black members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church that were non-vegetarian with those that were vegetarian. And one part was plant-based vegetarian. And they found that the vegetarian Seventh-day Adventists had a smaller risk for hypertension, diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, total cholesterol, and high blood LDL cholesterol. So there was proof in the pudding that this diet from the Bible works. Now, there's also a correlation in the Bible that I want to discuss today. And you can observe that with the genealogies of the patriarchs in the Bible, beginning from Adam to Abraham before and after the flood. So before the flood, man did not eat, according to the Bible, did not eat flesh meats until after the flood. And you can see on my screen that the lifespan was 920 all the way down to 650 for Noah. Now then, meat was introduced in Genesis chapter 9. And you can see that from Shem down to Abraham, there is a clear decrease in lifespan after the meat eating. And you can find more information in the book of Genesis chapter 1 on the diet before the flood, Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 3, and then after the flood in Genesis chapter 9. And of course, in Genesis chapter 5 and 11, you can see the lifespans. Now, what does this biblical health plan look like? Well, one, it's a nutritious health plan, and it is plant-based. And it features fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables, a healthy diet. And it also consists of healthy exercise, drinking a lot of water, sunshine, being temperate in all things. So eating things that are good for you in moderation, and then those things that are bad, you don't eat. Also pure fresh air, resting, getting a good night's sleep, resting on the seventh day Sabbath, and then also trust in God. Pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power. These are true remedies. That's from a book called Ministry of Healing. Now, additionally, the Bible gives promises and curses from following God's plan and then not following God's plan. So following God's plan, it says in Exodus 15:26, if you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments and keep his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon you, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that heals you. And we at A Table in the Wilderness believe in this health plan. And we have tons of resources that you can access from the library, from bookstores, from Amazon. Some of them include Animal Ethics and Christianity, Ministry of Healing, the China Study, Forks Over Knives. But then there's also programs that you can do within your church. And some of these programs are Diabetes Undone, which also promotes a healthy plant-based lifestyle to combat diabetes. And then Advent Health, Seventh-day Adventists have created a program called Creation Health. And you can do those with your church members and learn how to use the benefits found in the Bible to have long life and good health. And I want to tell you about some of our programs that we do with A Table in the Wilderness. And they are plant-based programs, they're helpful programs, and they're also biblically based programs. So one of them is the Kids Recipe Kit. And this Kids Recipe Kit is a plant-based cooking school at home. And then I want to tell you a bit about our plant-based Thanksgiving. Should have access to healthy food. And so we are trying to make that happen for everyone. Today's event was the community plant-based Thanksgiving. And the reason we had it is because we strongly believe that God's word tells us that, beloved, I wish above all things thou mayest prosper and be in health. And we want our community to prosper and be in good health. And so we know that in Genesis chapter 1, it talks about the food that God has given us, which fruits and vegetables and grains and nuts. And so we want to bring those different foods, put them together and make them a little tastier than usually people have them. A lot of people think you can only have salads when you want to eat healthy, but you can eat healthy and do Thanksgiving the same way you usually would, but just without the meat products. We also have a plant-based cooking class course that we call the Community Cooking Show. And we do this in public venues, and we believe strongly that people must learn how to eat the healthful foods and learn how to cook them. We also do a program from another nonprofit organization called Diabetes Undone. And Diabetes Undone is a very comprehensive diabetes reversal program that we highly recommend for individuals and churches, community groups that can reverse their diabetes using natural and healthful means. We actually had a testimony recently from our Diabetes Undone course that we ran through during 2020, and our participant did reverse her diabetes. And if you want to learn any more information about our organization, you can visit us online. We are based in Oklahoma. We want to combat the food crisis in the Black community using health and spiritual principles from the Bible and provide food to areas known as food deserts that have limited access to healthy food. So please contact me for more information if you're interested in volunteering or donating or anything like that. I just want to leave you with this commercial today about our organization.
Table in the Wilderness, who made these awesome plant-based for the kingdom t-shirts, and they're promoting a very healthy lifestyle. I'm sure you have seen a lot of companies jumping on board with this plant-based world, so check them out. Keith, tell us a little bit about them.
You know, healthy eating isn't cheap. Healthful foods are not only expensive, they're inaccessible to the poor. The majority of places known as food deserts in Oklahoma have high rates of diabetes, heart disease, and certain types of cancers. Many people are uneducated about how to eat right and how food affects the body and mind. A Table in the Wilderness is embarking on a long-term effort to educate Oklahomans on healthful living, providing plant-based foods to people with limited access to it, and reaching people with the everlasting gospel. You can check them out in the link below.